Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another quick post-fight analysis video. The main event, Holly Holm versus Irene Aldana. I know a lot of people really weren't looking forward to this fight because, a lot of people don't want to see Holly in another title shot, which I can understand. I can definitely understand that. They wanted to see Irene win this fight because they wanted to see a different look, which I did too. But at the same time, technically, I picked Holly Holm because I felt like, she was the more experienced fighter. And I know some people feel like, Holly Holm is still the same fighter, but I will say this. I think that Holly Holm has learned more so in her losses to the elite fighters like Chris Cyborg, Valentina, Miesha Tate, and so on. Like, I feel like she's learned more so in those fights to kind of build up her experience and her confidence more so than Irene Aldana has from her wins against fighters like Betchko Air or like Lucy Pudilova. I think those kind of fights just kind of keep Irene Aldana at a certain level. Like, that's no knock to her. I think Irene Aldana is improving, but I think Holly's improvement is a little bit different because of the competition and the people she surrounds herself with, and it just keeps Holly Holm at a certain level. Like, I'm not saying Holly's gotten to the level of like a Chris Cyborg Nunes. No way. I mean, she just does enough just to keep herself at like a second tier. Like Irene Aldana is on the third. Holly Holm, she's on the second tier, whereas, the Chris Cyborgs and Nunes, Valentina's, they're number ones. They're the elite fighters. So Holly does enough just to keep her here, but at the same time, she needs to do more if she wants to become a champion again, so she's going to continue to fight at the tier she's at. So that's one reason why I picked Holly Holm to win this fight. But another reason was because, when it comes to the footwork and the striking off the back foot, I feel like Holly Holm was going to be that fighter because Irene Aldana, her whole game plan in this fight, and this is the one thing I'll just say I was really analyzing, and I think everybody really kind of picked up on, was the fact that Irene Aldana was just doing a lot of chasing in this fight. She was just doing a lot of following. And if you've heard some of my past post-fight analysis videos, I've always talked about effective pressure. Effective pressure is whenever you know how to cut the octagon off, you know how to stalk, you know how to put that pressure at like a mid-range and make a fighter feel uncomfortable. See, Irene Aldana was just really following Holly Holm around. And when you follow a fighter around, you're really just kind of walking the dog. You got them on a leash and you got them walking wherever you want them to go. And when you want them to stop, they'll stop. And whenever you want them in position to eat one of your punches, they're there to eat one of your left hands like Holly was doing. Holly was backing up. Holly was going whatever direction, and she had Irene Aldana at the angle she needed her to be in for one of her shots to land. So really, that's what you got all 5 rounds here. So there's really nothing to go round by round. Holly Holm, she just really dictated the pace off of her back foot and was really just able to go either forward or backward and just hit Irene Aldana with whatever she wanted. Good leg kicks, good body kicks, and then going up top with the straight left hand. That straight left hand of Holly Holm is a deadly shot. Especially like if you're not going to move your head, which goes all the way back to Ronda Rousey. Like, Holly Holm is not like a really, really tricky defensive striker like somebody like Valentina is. She's not really going to set it up the same way, but if you're there, she's going to let it go. If the head is not moving, it's going to land very flush and accurate like it was in this picture, as you see, or like it, like I said, against a fighter with no head movement like Ronda Rousey. But yeah, also, like, in this fight, I knew that Holly Holm was going to take chances with takedowns as well. Like if she didn't want to get into a full all-out, brawl-out fight at times or exchange, she was going to take Irene Aldana to the ground. If she took her to the ground, it was just going to be able to score some quick ground and pound, and score points as far as the takedowns. It wasn't like she was going to be in the full guard trying to take chances, because if she did, she didn't want to risk the chance of getting submitted, like she did against Miesha Tate. So she definitely wanted to stay up on the cards in this fight. And that's where I could see her IQ improving. She didn't take as many crazy chances like she did in the past. And, she learned from that mistake like she did with Miesha Tate in that fight, in that aspect. But overall, like, I think that Holly Holm was really just controlling this fight because, it's just the experience level. It was just the experience level here, whereas Irene Aldana has never been in there with a fighter. Well, she has been in there with a good, solid level fighter like Ketlen Vieira, but that only lasted a round because, that left hook that landed. So she didn't really get a chance to have a round-by-round experience with an elite fighter. whereas Holly Holm has gotten that many a time, even if she did lose. But overall, man, like I said, this was just a dominant beating. Just punch after punch was landing for Holly Holm. I mean, Holly Holm ate a couple shots too here and there, I think, because she was bleeding by like the 5th round, but she was game the whole time. I mean, 5th round came, she was just like letting her hands go. She was trying to score a stoppage. She was hitting Irene Aldana with some vicious body kicks. There's a couple of shots where I thought the referee was about to step in because Irene Aldana just like shelled up in like the 5th round and just started eating punches, when she kind of started wincing from the pain from some of these body shots. So Holly Holm was really trying to turn it on here, and try to score a knockout and make this a big statement. But overall, it was just like Holly Holm just outclassed an opponent, just a level below her. But the thing is, she steps back in there with like a Nunes or maybe a rematch with Germaine de Randamie, shoot, I don't know if much is going to change. Maybe I could see Holly Holm scoring a win over Germaine de Randamie next go round. Maybe if she watches this tape with the fight against Juliana Pena, if she takes more chances on letting her hands go on the inside, I think that Holly Holm could probably beat Germaine de Randamie in a rematch. But overall, like the other elite fighters like Nunes, the Cyborgs, I really don't see Holly Holm still beating those fighters. But yeah, man, let me know, guys, in the comment section what y'all thought of this fight. Overall, pretty much dominant win for Holly Holm like I thought it would be. I never really saw Irene Aldana landing any type of flush shots like she did against the slower fighters like Ketlin Vieira. Holly just moves way too much. She's too athletic to fall into anything Irene Aldana has. But yeah, one more thing I'll say again is like fighters out there on the come up, this was a perfect example of what not to do if you're a pressure fighter. If you're going to walk a fighter down, you can't follow him. You can't follow him. You got to cut the octagon off. And when I say cut the octagon, you got to cut the angle off that they're going to. So if that fighter is moving to their left, you move to meet them at that halfway point where you can cut them off and you can land and get that work in. But because, yeah, Irene Aldana, that was her big mistake all night, was really just following behind Holly Holm and letting her walk her like a dog on a leash. She was just getting dog walked all night and just getting dominated overall. But yeah, man, overall, like I said, I still feel like the GDR versus Juliana Pena was a better fight. This was a good main event. It was good as far as just seeing Holly Holm and, letting people see what she can do on this level of an opponent. But, I still think the GDR versus Pena fight was better. But yeah, man, let me know in the comment section, guys, what y'all want to see from here. Who do you want to see Holly Holm fight next? Do you think she deserves a title shot now? Who do you want to see Irene Aldana fight next as well? What do you think she needs to work on from your observation? Let me know, guys. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.